In this problem, we want to take the data that we have that's measuring integrity, and we want to combine it into a single variable. And this is called a composite variable. We've asked a number of questions about integrity, and we want to put them all together into a single variable. So let's go back to what we have. We've got let's copy this. So I'm going to do shift arrow, shift down. I've got the whole table there. Control C for copy. I go back to our problem here, and I'm going to put it in D4. Control V to paste it. Now what we want to do is we want to make a new column here, and we're going to call this just INT. Now the table automatically knew that we wanted it to go on the table. If we didn't, we could click down this and undo it, but we want to call this INT for integrity. And so we want to combine these INT1, INT2, INT3s together. So we're going to do this with a formula. Now there's several ways that we can do it that are both valid. We can either take the average or we can take the sum. As we study statistics, you'll understand why it's not going to matter. It's still going to be the same distribution, just on a different scale. Now, I think it's a little easier to understand if we do the average. So we're going to use the Excel formula for average. We're going to do equals, open parentheses, average. Oh, we shouldn't have done the parentheses. Parentheses go later. So equals, average, open parentheses. Now we want to put all of our numbers from this row that we're going to average. So we start with E5. I'm going to put E5, and I'm going to go dot, dot, and we're going to go to G5 over here. Now, there's only 3 of them, but it'll take everything between the 2 endpoints, G5, and see how it highlighted everything in that range, and then close parentheses, and then I press equals, and it's calculated an average integrity score for candidate 1 of 4.33. Now we've got this little function option, override all cells in this column with this formula. Yes, we want all the cells in that column. And so it has calculated an integrity score for everybody based on those 3. Now those are ugly numbers. Let's round them down. So I'm going to right click that first column, go to home, and then I'm going to put this in number format, which reduces it to 2 significant figures. So that's a lot nicer to read. Now we don't need these individual scores anymore, so we could delete them all. But like in the previous problem, if we delete one column, let's delete that one, delete, we messed up. The integrity scores changed because it no longer is based on a formula. So let's put them back in. See how the first one here says 4, but it should be 4.33. So we can't just delete columns. We have to convert these. So I'm clicking on the first one, shift down arrow, control C for control copy, and I'm going to paste the values over them just like we did before. Paste values. And there, now when we look at the number that we have, it's not a formula, it's a number. So now I can go and I can delete these columns, and the integrity scores don't change, and we've got an integrity score for each person. So now we can look and say, well, we know integrity scores might be able to detect 5 to 10% of the people with problems. Is there anybody here in maybe the 5th or the 10th percentile that that's not doing very well? Now you look at that and you can see that, oh yeah, 2.00 is really low. But how could we do this if this was like 1,000 numbers? We could go down to sort from largest to smallest, and then we have the lowest there. And then we could do conditional formatting. We could do a color scale where the high scores are good and the low scores are bad. We could do that, and that That gives us a good indication that, oh yeah, that person's problem there. But now if we wanted to get the percentile, let's take conditional formatting off and go to top bottom rules. Let's go for the bottom 10% and format cells that rank in the bottom 10% with light red. That sounds good. And now it's saying, let's clear that format and try that over again because it was overlapping. Conditional formatting, top bottom rules, bottom 10%. Okay. And there it highlights the bottom 10% of scores. So those are some of the ways that we could sort through this.